I'd like to say a few Croatian words to you, because maybe I'm the only one, among the 5 professors who has stayed in Croatia more than they did, Well, last year, I came here to make preparations for the opening ceremony of the Confucius Institute at the University of Zagreb. And having stayed in Croatia for 1 year, I must say that I really love Zagreb and also Croatia. Well, my topic today is an introduction to Chinese business etiquette. Well, probably it's a little big topic, I think. So I try to narrow down, okay? Well, I'd like to say a few words, before I really began to talk about my topic, yeah. Well, we are different, but living in one world. As we all know, Croatia established foreign relations with China more than 21 years ago. And even before that, you see, Yugoslavia was on a very good terms with China. So almost all the Chinese people, especially people of my age, who were born in the 1960s or in the early 1970s, know Yugoslavia, know Tito, know Belgrade, know Sarajevo, maybe, yeah? Because we have seen a lot of Yugoslavia movies. And also at that time, Yugoslavia was on a very good terms with China. So even now, I think Croatia is also very friendly with China. And that's the reason why Chinese government, Hanban, and also the University of Zagreb decided to establish a Confucius Institute in Zagreb. Well, understanding cultural differences and try to avoid misunderstandings and developing business cooperation. I think these are the major points that we need to pay attention to, especially when you are doing business with China. Well, the 3 main topics are, number 1, what is business etiquette? What influences business etiquette? And how to interpret Chinese business etiquette? Maybe the last one, I think, is the focus of my topic. Well, here are some quotations from some people or from some scholars, okay? Well, it is all that you do and say while others are looking at you and listening to you. Another one, it is the forms, manners, and ceremonies established by convention as acceptable or required in social relations, professional relations, or in a business setting. And next one is, it dictates how people of differing or similar tastes relate to one another. So, how does business etiquette benefit you? What can you benefit from learning business etiquette? Well, I think the importance of knowing the acceptable way of doing things, what to say, how to dress, or how to react in various situations becomes more and more important as your rank becomes higher, because you will have more chances to do business with the other countries and especially the people who are engaged in business. Well, the second question is, what influences business etiquette? Here are some different quotations by different people. Well, business etiquette is the behavior within a culture. So first of all, in my understanding, it after all happens in a culture. So if you want to do business with Croatian people, I think you need to understand the Croatian culture. And I say vice versa. If you want to do business with China, with Chinese people, you need at least try to understand, the Chinese culture. Culture exists in the background through its fundamental impact on the behavior of people who are in the center of business relationships. Another one is, culture is the business of international business. So it is also part of the international business. Although maybe it took place in Croatia, or maybe it took place in China, or maybe in Japan, wherever it is the business of international business, or a part of the international business. Another definition is, Cultural understanding is difficult and sometimes hard to attain, but the rewards can be great. So that tells us the importance of knowing business etiquette. Well, some influences in business etiquette, yeah. In order to understand Chinese business etiquette, it is important that you try to understand the increasing diversification of the Chinese culture, especially Han culture. Because as we all know, China is composed of 56 nationalities. And Han is the major nationality, and all the other 55, we call them minorities. So Han dominates, I think, 92 or 95% of the whole population. Well, some factors that influence business etiquette are, for example, age, race, ethnicity, culture, gender, which are closely related to the following factors, like its marital status, physical status, socio-economic status, education, religion, or political ideology. Well, here is the map of China, but I do not tell you the exact place or the cities or the provinces, but basically we say a rough or general distribution of China. Yeah. So that part is, we call it northeastern part of China, which is composed of 3 provinces, which are respectively Heilongjiang, Jilin, and the Liaoning provinces. So they are, on the whole, called as one part because they share basically the same language, the same culture. So maybe we will say, I come from Dongbei, which means maybe Heilongjiang, maybe Jilin, or maybe Liaoning. I say exactly. And another part, I think, should be, you say this part, a northern part of China. And then Tibet and Qinghai, which is basically the western part of China. We often say Xibu, we mean Qinghai and Tibet. And here is southwestern part of China, which composes, like Guangxi, Yunnan, Guizhou, Sichuan. Yeah? And here is the southern part, which is basically Guangdong, Hainan, Hong Kong, yeah? And also Macau. And here is the central part, which are basically like Henan, like Hubei, like Hunan provinces. Yeah? And here is the eastern part, which I think includes 6 provinces and 1 city, which is also Shanghai. The city is Shanghai, and all the other 6 provinces. So, well, these are very important. I don't know whether or not it is very important in Croatia, but also I think, as far as I know, people may say, I come from maybe Dubrovnik, or maybe Split, or maybe Zadar. So that also refers to the different backgrounds of the people. So if in China they say, I'm from where, that means you have such a background. So if you know the basic situations and background of those people, then you can generally have an impression of those kind of people. What kind of language do they speak? What kind of food do they like? Yeah, so this is very important. Yeah. The distance from north to the south, from the west, I say, to the east. Well, let's have a look at the categorizations of Chinese culture. So if you categorize Chinese culture by form, you can say Chinese culture as a whole, or we have a lot of subcultures. And then by language, capital culture, yeah, like Hanzi or Hanyu, which means Chinese character and Chinese language. And also, we have Wu language, which mainly dominates the central part of China, like Jiangsu, Shanghai, and Zhejiang province. And also Cantonese. People from Guangdong, yeah, from Canton and from Hong Kong speak Cantonese. And Cantonese is now still very popular in the southern part of China. So, for example, in Hong Kong, 普通话 or Mandarin is not the first language. Cantonese is still the first language. And then English, and then maybe it's Mandarin. So if you work in Hong Kong, or if you deal with those people who are doing business in Hong Kong, it's better if you can speak some, you say, Cantonese, which is, a very different from, we say, 普通话 or it's Mandarin. Yeah. And next one is Minnan, which means the southern part of Fujian province, which, where also has a very special language. And people from Taiwan and people from southern part of Fujian speak is the Minnan language. Yeah? And another one is Sichuan. Yeah. Well, if you categorize Chinese culture by ethnicity, you can say there are basically two branches. One is Han culture, and the other is minority cultures. Are you from Inner Mongolia? Are you from Zhuang nationality? Or are you from Tibetan? Yeah? And if you divide Chinese culture according to geography, you can say there are basically three branches. One is northern Chinese culture, yeah, which I say northern Chinese culture. Another one, southern, and the last one is mid Chinese culture. Yeah. And the last one, if you classify Chinese culture by context, it should be, there are business culture, festival culture, restaurant culture, or urban or rustic culture. They are all different because as we all know, China is such a large country with so many people and such a long history. And everywhere, I think, in China develops very differently and unsteadily. Some parts of China develop very quickly, but some parts of China still develop very slowly, like the remote areas or the western part of China. So Chinese language has 400 sounds, with 4 tones for each Chinese character, which equals 1,600 sounds, and also, 35 meanings per sound. So here are some questions concerning Chinese culture. What forms the characteristics of Chinese culture as a whole? And what is the philosophical foundation of Chinese behavior? Well, Chinese culture has basically, I think, 4 main characteristics. Number 1, long history and diversity. As I said before, it has a history of over 5,000 years, and it has 56 ethnicities. And the second one is social structure, which I think is very important for people in Croatia to understand Chinese people. Yeah, because it is mainly family-oriented. That's very important. Yeah, Chinese people attach great importance to their relatives. Uncle, aunt, brothers, sisters, cousins, or maybe even further away. Yeah. And another one is interpersonal oriented. Collectivist group is loyalty, which we often say 关系, which means interpersonal is relations. So this is very important. If Professor Zhao is my colleague, if Professor Worm is my classmate, if Professor Gao is my best friend, then we believe in each other. His best friend will become my best friend immediately, because I believe in him. So I also believe in his friends. That's very simple. Yeah, this is a kind of interpersonal relations, which we Chinese people attach great importance. Like some professors have said, sometimes maybe we don't trust or believe in too much on law or maybe legal system, but we believe in friendship. Another one is network embedded. Yeah. So maybe you join in different clubs. You have different societies. You are one of the members of a board. So they are closely related, and they often get together, maybe once a week, maybe once a month. So some Chinese business people, including officials, are doing like MBA or EMBA. Well, to be frank, they are not really trying to study something or to get a degree. No. They just want to establish an internet or a network, which I mean, 关系. So in this class, maybe we'll stay for 1 year or 2 years or maybe even 3 years. So during this process of study, we can be very good friends. And in the future, your friends will become my friends. My friends will become your friends. So we have a very big network. Then it might be better and easier for you to know more people and do more business. So this is very important in China, which I think might be very different in Croatia or in some other East Western countries. And the philosophical foundation of Chinese culture, I think, are basically based on 3 doctrines. First one, Confucianism. The second one is Buddhism. And last one is Taoism. Here are some basic features or characteristics of the 3 doctrines. Number 1, Confucianism. So what does Confucius or his idea deal with? Moral cultivation. People are born to be virtuous. People should cultivate virtues through study, through self-reflection, through working hard, and many other things. The second one is human relationships. How to establish a harmonious relationships with other people is also very important, because you are living in a world that has to, that you have to meet different kinds of people every day. So how to stay with them, how to get along with them peacefully and happily is also one of the topics that Confucius studied more than 2,000 years ago. Another one is interpersonal relationships. Like 关系. Another one we say 人情. 人 means human beings. 情 is emotion. So you understand? It means it's something like EQ. And in China now, I think people are now attaching more importance to EQ instead of IQ. Because people's IQ, I think, at least in my opinion, is basically the same. I'm not that cleverer than you, and you are not more stupid than me. We are basically equal. We receive the same education. We graduate from maybe different kinds of universities, but maybe receive basically the same education. So everybody's IQ is basically the same. Then why are different people, will be different in the future? Some are successful, some are so-so, some, even become failures. Why? We Chinese people think maybe EQ plays a very important role. And another one is trust. Respect for age and hierarchy. So this is also very important. In Chinese, we often say 尊老爱幼, which means respect the elderly and love the kids or the young children. So this is very important. Maybe in a bus, maybe in a train, maybe on the roads, you can see that young people would like to offer their seats to the old people. And maybe young people would like to offer their seats to the children or to those, we say, the weak. Like the people who are disabled, like the people who are pregnant, or like the people who are ill. So this is very important. And another one is hierarchy. So this, I think, is easy to understand. And it is true. I think basically in China, everything is still very centralized. Well, we can't see that all the leaders or high officials are elected by China. I can't see that. I have to acknowledge. But we select those people, or we have a committee that selects those people, and these people, I think, are reliable and are mostly trusted by the people. So we select them. And once they are selected, once he's your boss, then you must order him. You must listen to the order of him or her. So this is very important. So, for example, the monitor of the class will listen to his teacher. And his teacher will listen to the order of his dean. And the dean will listen to the vice president. And the vice president will listen to the president. And the president will listen to the leader from the Commission of Education. And the leader of the Commission of Education will listen to the vice mayor. And the vice mayor to the mayor. So this is very important, not only in society, but also, I think, in every aspect in the army. It's everywhere. So this is very important. When you are negotiating with Chinese business people, so each person, according to his status, plays a different role. So you will know who is number one, who is number two, who has more say, who has maybe small say, and who has the final say. And next one is family orientation. And another one, avoidance of conflict. That's the reason why we often stress that China is building itself into a harmonious society, because we don't like, conflict. This is very important. So try to live in harmony and peacefully with everybody. This is our concept. It also means that when you are talking to the other people, do not speak bluntly or very directly, because it might make the other people lose his face. So this is very important. Last one, is need for harmony. And Daoism mainly deals with life in harmony with nature, doing nothing. Now this is, very, very interesting, and the yin-yang principle, as Professor Werb has explained some. It means there is neither absolute black nor absolute white. So maybe this is different from the Western concept. Maybe you think A is A, B is B. Black is black, white is white. But in Chinese people's way of thinking, no, not necessarily. It is white, but it can also become black. So they depend on each other, exist within each other, and give birth to each other, interact with each other. So yin, means female, like moon, night, water, weakness, darkness, mystery, softness, or passivity. And yang, male, sun, day, fire, strength, brightness. These all refer to, yang, and also clearness, hotness, activity. So Tai Chi and Kung Fu, yin, yang, Ba Gua. Chinese traditional herbal medicine. And the last one is Buddhism, which mainly deals with uncontrolled power in reach of human beings, beyond the reach of human beings. There is something which is called supernature or superpower that exists, which you can't see and you cannot control. So it means in many cases, you have to endure hardship, something like, tolerance. You are suffering. You are being maybe tortured, but you have to accept because this is your destiny. You can't do anything to rebel it or to fight against it. This is your destiny. You have to accept. Well, another one is looking forward towards a better future. Yin and yang principle. Well, let's come to business etiquette in China. So some, very important and basic aspects of daily life, like first line greeting, introduction, attending a meeting, attending a dinner, building up guanxi, which is, interpersonal relations, some symbols, and holidays. So, let's look at this case. What's wrong? Lidong returns to China after 1 year abroad in the States. He marries Wang Lin, his childhood sweetheart, who has never traveled abroad and speaks very little English. Li's best friend in the States, Brown, comes to visit Li in China for the first time and is introduced to the bride of his best friend. Guy, it's great to meet you, says Brown. Li talked about you all the time back in Houston and kisses Wang Lin heartily on both cheeks. Wang Lin is shocked. Why is Wang Lin shocked? So why did Brian and Wang Lin behave the way they did from a cultural perspective, and what behaviors caused the misunderstanding in the first place, and what corrections to the behavior would you suggest in order to avoid further misunderstandings? Huh? Another one. Jinyi is a new teacher in the middle school. One day, one of her Chinese colleagues, Yang Fan, introduced her to their middle-aged foreign teacher, Maggie. Jinyi, this is Maggie, our English teacher from America. Maggie, this is Jinyi, our new colleague. How do you do? Your sweater is so smart. Oh, it's only an old one. I bought it last year. So why does Jin say so? Chinese people like to be modest. They don't like to play up things. They like to play down. So she said, oh, this is an old one. It's very cheap. It's not good. It's not smart. Yeah? But if you praise a foreigner, or maybe a Croatian girl or boy, she will reply, oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. But Chinese people, maybe young people now are okay, but people, of middle-aged people, or maybe even older people, still shows great modesty. They don't like to be arrogant or to look like, self-proud, which they don't think is a virtue. Yeah. So, you are so young and smart. I'm sure you're a good teacher. No, I'm just a newcomer. I should learn from you old teachers. Maggie looks surprised and thinks, I'm really so old? So that's another misunderstanding. Because when we say old, we mean a kind of respect. If you are old, that means you have been working for a long time. You are very experienced. You must be a very good teacher. So we all respect you. But I don't think foreign people like to be called old teachers. And in China, we also call those brothers, maybe he's 5 years older than me, I would like to call him old brother or old sister. Because when you use the word old, you mean respect. And the listener is very happy. Oh, she respects me very well. Yeah? Well, greetings are the first step to observe the culture. Yeah? Some common Chinese greetings. Traditional way, like, did you already eat or have you eaten? Yeah. So, and an interesting greeting difference between Chinese people and Japanese people is when Chinese people meet each other, they will ask, have you ever eaten? But Japanese people, what do they say? Ohayo gozaimasu, right? Which means, please take care of me. It's the first time we meet each other, please take care of me. So from these different greetings, we Chinese people draw a conclusion that Chinese people are always concerned with the other one. Have you ever eaten? I'm afraid you are still hungry. So please enjoy your meals. Please eat something. But Japanese people are very selfish. They say, please take care of me. Of course, this is only a kind of explanation, which might not be, correct. Yeah, it's only a habit, I think. Yeah. And another one: have you been busy recently? Where are you going? Well, when Chinese people ask you such a question, they don't really want to know where you are going. It's only a kind of greeting. So you don't need to answer him. Or her, maybe. Or maybe, it doesn't matter. You can say, I'm going to school, I'm going to the canteen, I'm going to the meeting. Yeah? And modern way is maybe good morning, good afternoon, bye, see you later. Yeah. Like the popular ways of greeting in the whole world, I think. Yeah. And other things that we need to pay attention to is, nodding, handshake. Yeah. It should be gentle, short, with a smile. But in Croatia, I have found, when you shake hands with the other people, it should be a grip, it should be a firm handshake. But in China, not so. they might feel, hurt. It's very painful. But it depends. If you are old friends and you have known each other very well, you can also embrace and hug and maybe kiss each other. But not always in China. Yeah, just maybe, especially for the first time. Yeah? And make a bow with your hands folded in the front. Yeah, it's something like it, or maybe something like it. Yeah, especially greeting or saying hello to many people in a gathering, because you cannot shake hands with each other one by one. Yeah. Introduce yourself through a third party. Introduce yourself through, first of all, shaking hands, exchange of business cards, a formal introduction. And take care about the following. Yeah? Chinese don't like to do business with strangers. That's what I have mentioned before, 关系. You are a good businessman. You are a very reliable and successful businesswoman. But I don't know you. I know nothing about you. Maybe I have heard of you, but we don't know each other. So I dare not do business with you. In this case, we need, introduce yourself through a person or an organization. This is very important, yeah? And Chinese like formal introductions. They stand up and keep standing throughout the introduction. Yeah? And Chinese don't like direct body contact. Yeah? A short handshake is acceptable, maybe a hug with an old friend, but no hug with the other people, yeah? Which is very different. Yeah? Well, here are some rules when you are doing an introduction. Yeah? Number one, don't forget to ask a Chinese person which name is their family name. Well, Chinese names are just the opposite, I should say, to most of the foreign countries' name. Yeah? So you have your first name and then last name. But we, just opposite. So my first name, of course, English should be Lidong, and the surname is Yan, but we say Yan Lidong. And Professor Zhao's name is Zhao Hongjun. So Zhao is surname. Hongjun is the first name, which is very different. So you have to, especially, okay, when the person has a name that has 3 Chinese characters, it's okay, because usually the last 2 are the first name. And the first one, the one is the surname. But somebody maybe is called Li Yan. So you do understand. If his surname is Li or his family name is Li, you have to check. Otherwise, you will make a mistake. Because for example, his name is Mr. Li, but maybe you may call him Mr. Yan. That's very different. Yeah. Address a Chinese person using his or her family name only. Yeah. It is acceptable to call a person by the surname together with the title. If you are a director, or if you are a rector, you can say, and his surname is Li, you can call him Li Xiaozhang. That's okay. Li is surname, Xiaozhang is director or is a president. It's okay. Or Mr. Li. Yeah. It is, avoid using someone's first name unless you have known the person for a long time. Yeah? This is, I think, very different from maybe American people, from Australian people, from Canadian people. They would like to be called on the first name basis. Yeah? And do not try to become intimate too fast. Yeah? We like to keep a distance at the very beginning. But when we have become friends, especially after drinking many times, then you will know each other very well. Yeah? And then you can call him or her by his or her first name. Yeah? No touching like hugs or arm around the shoulder. Do not look people straight in the eye. And I think the following 3 are basically the same as the Croatian people do. Yeah? A man is always related to a woman, a young person to an old person, less important to a VIP, or maybe a more important person. Yeah? And how to make an introduction? First of all, title. This is director of my company. This is the general manager of my company. First of all, title. And then this is, and his surname is Li, is Mr. Li or Wang, and then 1 or 2 syllable is given name. And how to use the business card? And what should be on the business card? And when do we exchange business cards? Here are 5 tips. Have one side of your business card translated to Chinese. This is very important. And it's better if you can, ask some Chinese people to give you a Chinese name. And in my opinion, the best Chinese name is just the pronunciation of your name. Like Kinesko, is Yurak. Chinese is 可来修尤拉克. Basically, it's just the pronunciation. For Chinese people, easy to understand. And this is the common way. Bill Gates, Bill Gates. Major, 梅杰. Clinton, 克林顿. So this is basically, the pronunciation of Chinese. And of course, if you work in China for a long time, or maybe in Croatia, with the Chinese business people or your partners for a long time, maybe you can have a typical Chinese name. That's also okay. Someone, some kind of names that you like. Yeah, because every Chinese name has its meaning. Yeah. Hold the card in both hands when offering it. Yeah, the Chinese side facing the recipient. So this is also a way of showing your respect to the people. Please accept. This is my business card. And then, of course, the recipient will also accept with 2 hands. Don't like this. Oh, this is my card. Please click this. No. This is not, respectful. Yeah. Examine the card before putting it in a business card case. Yeah, you should know. Okay, what is his name? What is his title? Where is he from? His company's name, his address, or something like it. To show your due respect, and then put it maybe on the table or in your pocket. Yeah. A handshake, nod, or slight bow should follow the exchange. Yeah. Well, what are the details that you should pay attention to when you attend a meeting? Yeah. Well, make an appointment in advance. This is very important. I think the same case is everywhere in the world. Agenda, proper dress, promptness or early arrival is welcome, especially in China. I have stayed here for 1 year, and I have 3 or 4 or maybe more Croatian colleagues. Yeah, I have found this is maybe a problem. Croatian people like to do everything until the deadline. If I say, please give me the report on the 15th of May, then they will give me the report on the 15th. It's always. Or maybe, we'll have a meeting tomorrow, then even today, we don't prepare any arrangements. This is very different from China. Chinese people like to do things in advance, maybe 2 days earlier or 3 days earlier, in order to avoid some, something that might happen unexpectedly, like an emergency or something bad. Yeah, so we like to say, prepare first. Yeah, prepare first. This is very important. Yeah. And also, when you are arriving for a meeting, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes earlier for an appointment, for a meeting, or for for a lunch or for a dinner. Yeah. And keep body language limited. Hire an interpreter if necessary. Yeah. Time orientation, order of entering the meeting room, introductions, tip sheet and seating order. We usually put VIPs and guests sit on the right. So right position is considered the most important one than the left position. And the leader sits in the middle, facing the leader of the partners. Principal host sits directly opposite to the principal guest. Yeah, maybe some small talk to break the tension, or usually there is a welcome speech by the leader of the group, general manager, director, or president. Yeah. So senior members, usually escorted to their seats, should enter the meeting room first. to show your respect. Yeah. And that's also a difference, I think, between China and Croatia. For example, this morning, the ambassador, of course, is a VIP, but he gave the speech at last, right? At last. I mean, he was number 3 or 4th, fourth speaker. But in China, vice versa. The most important people should make the speech first, and then vice, maybe minister, and then director, but then, yeah. So this is also very, very, it's different. In China, pay attention to this. It is always like this. It is always like this, yeah. Everywhere, yeah. On all occasions, yeah. And what is the dress code for a business meeting? Or, we say conservative business suits, yeah. Why should the starting price leave room for negotiation? It is not likely that any decisions will be made during the meeting, especially the first meeting. No decision at all. You just talk, you just negotiate, you just bargain, but maybe no result. And bring the materials in both languages. Yeah. This is also very important. Yeah. Well, how to interpret? We'll see or we'll think about it. So what does it mean when Chinese people say, we will see or we'll think about it? Yeah. Look for signs of dismay or surprise. So, such as, sharp intakes of breath. It means a very big surprise. Something that I have never expected. I have expected it should be 5,000 kuna, but you said 1,000 kunas. No, it's unbelievable. If you see some Chinese people have such, a facial expression, yeah. And take care that applause is a common form of greeting in China. Be respectful and return the applause. So this is also very different, yeah. Because, for example, when I'm making a speech, and after speech, all the people will applaud. Chinese people also. This doesn't mean I'm applauding myself. I'm very proud of myself. No, not at all. It's only a kind of return. My thanks to you. Yeah. Well, when you are attending a business dinner, yeah, there are delicious and colorful Chinese food, and please prepare a short, friendly speech in the rest of the host speech. Understand the table manners, seating arrangement, some common missteps, yeah? Well, look at the left side. There are many different kinds of categorizations of Chinese cuisine, but basically, we divide Chinese cuisine into 4 kinds. Number 1, Lu. Lu means Shandong province, which basically represents the Chinese food in the northern part of China. Shandong, Beijing, Dongbei, northeastern part of China. So Beijing and also northeastern part of China, or Hebei maybe, or Tianjin, are some, we can say, branches of Lu cuisine. Second one is Yue, which is a short abbreviation of Cantonese. Yeah, of Canton is the province. Yeah, Yue Cai. Yeah. So, the first cuisine, Lu, I think focuses on the food that is very salty and also spicy. When I say salty, I do not mean that you put a lot of salt in it. Maybe a lot of soy sauce. You put a lot of soy sauce in the meat, in the fish, in the chicken, yeah, you put a lot of sauce. And the Yue cuisine focuses on seafood, because Guangdong is near the sea. So most of the foods there are from the sea. And people there enjoy seafood very much, which are cooked very different, I think, from the way that Croatian people cook. Very different, yeah. And next one is Sichuan. Yeah. Well, its features are spicy, yeah, spicy, yeah, hot and spicy. And next one is Huaiyang, which composes of like Jiangsu province, Shanghai city, and Zhejiang is the province. Which feature, I think, sweet and sour. Sweet and sour. Yeah. And of course, there are some other small branches, you know, Han Cai, Hangzhou, yeah, and Xiang Cai, which means Hunan province, and Hui Cai, Anhui province, and Min Cai, Fujian province. Well, when a Chinese host or your partner invites you to have a dinner, it is usually you are the first to sit down. Please sit down. After you sit down, then the host can sit down to show my respect. Yeah? And seniors first, juniors second. Older first, younger second. The main tables and the important tables first. What to order? First of all, drinks. Maybe beer, maybe we say baijiu, which means alcoholic drink, which are much higher, which have a higher degree than vodka, even vodka, or some, alcoholic drinks in Croatia. 39, 52, 53, some are even more than 60. Very strong, yeah? And also alcoholic is beverage, yeah? And next one is starters. Usually people have some tea, of course hot tea, and then, some cold dishes. Yeah. Main courses, hot meats and vegetables, soup with rice, noodles, or dumplings, and public chopsticks and spoons. Yeah. Well, the so-called public chopsticks and spoons are used by everybody. For example, the host will put some food in your plate or bowl with the public chopsticks, yeah, to show their hospitality and friendliness. Yeah. Conversation, paying the bill. Of course, if I invite you, it is me who is going to pay. Mr. Yulak, yeah, dear director, please come to Sichuan restaurant on Nanjing Road tonight at 8 o'clock. That means, of course, I will invite you to a dinner. I will pay for everything. Yeah? Well, some good manners, maybe, yeah, while you are having a dinner, yeah? All dishes are placed on the table and shared. Chinese also will sometimes put food in your bowl. Do not stick your chopsticks upright in the rice bowl. This is a kind of, disrespect, yeah? Make sure that the spout of teapot is not facing anyone. Do not turn over the fish. Do not tap your bowl with your chopsticks. Do not overorder or overeat. Here is guanxi, yeah? Due to the limited time, so I won't explain in detail, yeah? So guanxi is very important. Once you establish a guanxi or interpersonal relations with other people, then it is forever, basically forever. You are my friend today. You will be my friend 50 years later. That's the basic concept of Chinese people. Yeah. When you are giving gifts, usually it should be properly and beautifully wrapped or decorated, yeah, with especially red, yellow paper, but never black or white, yeah, which means death or something very bad, yeah. And do not give clocks. No. The clock in Chinese we say 钟, which means the end of your life. A watch is okay, but never a clock. Yeah. Well, Croatian people will open their gifts while they receive it, but Chinese people seldom. Seldom, yeah? Saving face plays some roles in almost every culture. One never speaks or acts in a social setting without considering the effect on its reputation. Yeah? A primary goal at a social or business gathering is to avoid embarrassing or offending one's associates, and one does not show or provoke anger. Yeah? 12 animals, yeah? So every Chinese person is born in an animal year. In a year, maybe pig, maybe rooster, maybe, dragon, maybe snake, yeah, which have different meanings, yeah? Well, here I have a new concept of, the 12 animals. Well, when you are trying to understand the different symbols of the animals, try to understand them in pairs, like first two, mouse and ox. Mouse is usually considered very wise, very intelligent, yeah? And an ox is considered hardworking. So they should be combined together to make a successful career. And then tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, pig. Of course, there are some other definitions or explanations. This is, I think, is a new concept of understanding the 12 animals, in China. Dragon, considered good. Chinese people are all the descendants of the dragon. Yeah, we are the descendants, offspring of the dragon. But maybe dragon is considered a devil or a terrible animal or something very harmful in the Western culture. Yeah. So you always see a lot of dragon pictures and symbols in China, which predict good luck, happiness, prosperity in your future. Yeah. Color, color. Like people in Croatia like blue colors, is that right? But we prefer red colors. So here is the blue color. Clash likes it very much. I would like it to be red. If it's in China, usually red, I think. Yeah. So some number is a preference. Yeah, I only give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, exactly half of the 10 numbers. Yeah. First one, 4. We don't like the word 4 because it means 死, which means death in China. So we don't like it. Some of the some of the plates or even telephone numbers have cancelled this word. Yeah. And second one, 6. It is good. 6 means good luck, smoothness. So 6, so 6 is the best number. Yeah. And next one is 8, which means fa. I mean, it is pronounced fa in the southern part of China, especially in Guangdong, which means, wealthy, prosperous, very rich. Yeah? And next one is 9. 9 is considered the largest or the biggest number among odd numbers. I mean, individually. So it is good. It is number 1, something like it. Yeah. And the last one is 10, we say perfect. So we have a lot of different kinds of Chinese idioms and the phrases like 十全十美. Yeah. Holidays, yeah, Spring Festival, Lantern Festival, Qingming Festival, Dragon Boat Festival, Mid-Autumn Festival, and Chongyang festivals. Now, here are all the festivals that are celebrated according to Chinese Lunar New Year. So these are very important. I think the most important one is, of course, Spring Festival, something like Christmas in Croatia or in the Western countries. And the second most important one is Mid-Autumn Festival, like Easter here, I think. Yeah? Yeah. And here, I think, are also some Chinese special days. Yeah? Some are international, some are that only belong to China. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Well, as a matter of fact, I canceled the number 9. When you say basically no problem, you mean a big problem? No, I don't agree with it. Well, if Chinese people say basically no problem, they really mean it. Because Chinese people, as I've said, like to be modest. They don't want to say something absolutely true or 100% right or correct, they would say, oh, basically good. I basically agree with it. That means more than 90%, or maybe 99%. Well, here are some golden rules. I think they are also acceptable maybe in Croatia or in some other countries. Yeah? But in my opinion, as China is developing very fast, and also because of the globalization in the whole world, so China has immediately made itself part of the whole world. Whatever is happening, maybe in Paris, in London, in New York, in Los Angeles, in Sydney, is also happening in China. So I think due to the internet and also the fast widespread of the information, everything is exchanging very fast. So I think Chinese people are very clever and flexible in catching up with the world trend. So I think most of the business etiquette in China are also in accordance or in agreement with most of the Western part of business. So you don't feel there are a lot of offenses, or you have a lot of things to pay attention to. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah? When in China, do as the Chinese do. Yeah? 好吧了, thank you very much.
Mr. Yen, thank you.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Is it working? Oh, so hello. My name is Kristina Pijazevali. I'm a director of exports in one Croatian company. So I would like to ask you if you could explain a little bit about the position of women in doing business with China and in executive culture. Are they considered as equal? Is there anything that we should take care of when doing business with Chinese executives, directors, etc.?
Okay, a very good question. I should say women enjoy a very high social status in China. Many years ago, Chairman Mao, the first leader of the People's Republic of China, once said, women hold half the sky. So just imagine. Business women, I think, are doing a very good job in China. And they are highly respected, not only in doing business, but also in many other things. So don't worry about it. We have a lot of, smart, successful business women. Yeah, it's true.
Zahvaljujem. Ima li još? If that is so.
Okay, I just want to add a few words to confirm the importance of this short introduction to the Chinese temper, mentality, and culture. It's very important to avoid the misunderstandings at the beginning. I can tell from my own experience that especially in my first year there, I spent about 5-6 years in China. If you don't understand this, what you explained today, what was also the beginning for me the case, it can really produce some, I would say, unsatisfying on your side because you simply don't understand the things. The people try to be polite to you, but at the beginning you can understand this a completely wrong way. It's an anecdote I'll tell you only at the end of this conversation, but it can be very typical in China. I was in Shanghai already pretty domestic, but still it's not my hometown. And I was close to the railway station.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly I get lost. I lose my orientation.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask first passenger to show me the way, to explain. Head and second street and the left, something like that. But no, he refused to give me such answer. He asked me where I'm traveling actually. Where is my final destination, which city? So I was intending to drive to Suzhou, but actually I was thinking it's not his business. Know this. But before I explained him this, he refused to give me the answer. It's very typical, you know, but it's polite. Actually, he wants to be more helpful to me. Because he was thinking if he knows this, it will be much easier to explain, to give one more complete answer. And you'll meet the similar situations in many, many different everyday sense. So just be prepared to this different logic. Else you can really understand the people wrong way. Just for example, one of direct impressions, you know, the biggest difference, people respect you and work already with some Chinese people there a long time, but when they are together, you can listen to them, they will always call you among them Lowai. What doesn't mean anything pejorative, actually, in Chinese culture, but Western people can understand it in the wrong way, you know. I expect you call me by name, you know, not like foreigner or stranger. It's important to know many of these small things, not to judge people in the wrong way, because actually Chinese people are very polite.
Yes, yes.
Short comment.
So your question is, you are telling me a story.
To confirm, am I wrong or not in this, you know? Okay. Okay. Actually, maybe you can comment just these few situations from your way of explanation. You know, is it the way how the Chinese people understand to be polite sometimes in conflict with our understanding? You know?
Well, I think the misunderstanding arises from, you know, the misunderstanding of the language. That's the main problem. So if you can understand each other, I mean, while you are negotiating or talking in English, I don't think it's a problem. So maybe it's also, you know, comes from the language barrier. So you think that, for example, you want to go to maybe the north, and he thinks that you are going to the south. So maybe he gives you a wrong direction. Is that right? So you have to, you know, confirm. Maybe you need to tell him where the place you are going to, especially the name of the place. Or maybe it's better for you to give him some reference buildings. Like you can say, it's near the railway station, it's near Fudan University, or it's near, you know, somewhere. But as you know, Shanghai is also an immigrant city, yeah, especially Shanghai, and also Guangzhou and Shenzhen. So there are also many, you know, newcomers every day. So maybe they are themselves do not, you know, familiarize themselves with the local positions, maybe. But try to tell them clearly and get the clear answer before you take some actions. Thank you.
Gospodine, thank you very much once again. I see that there is no more question.